Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by Jeanette McKenzie, Realtor at Forest Hill Signature, and Jewelry Forever at jewelryforever.ca. Enjoy the show.
Broadcasting live from Glenmore Record Studios in Toronto, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, your Sunday morning talk show with interesting guests, live musical performances, and the most fun you can fit in your coffee cup. Hosted by Scott Dion Brown and Regine Alaina, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
I'm tired, everyone. You know what? Daylight savings time, more like daylight ruins my daytime. See, I'm so tired I couldn't even come up with a thing to say cleverly. Normally, I would have been on the ball with it. I don't like this, okay? I don't like it. We need to get rid of it. And I want the government to, whoever in the next election runs on the platform of getting rid of daylight savings time, I'm voting for you. So, think about that. Think about that.
You're still going to need it for business, though.
They don't need it. They don't need it.
Other countries still have it.
They can adjust. They can adjust. Hang on. Okay, I'll introduce you in a second. Nobody knows who you are yet, but maybe I should bring you in. Okay, wait. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 171 of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. I'm your host, Scott Dion Brown, and I'm joined by the greatest co-host in the galaxy, the one, the only,
Regine Alaina. Happy Sunday, everyone. I promise I was not the mysterious man voice in the background. But hello, Scott. How are you? Besides
Hello,
being
Regine.
tired.
Pardon?
Besides being tired, how are you?
You know what? I'm actually quite great, to be honest. I just feel, my eyes just feel a little bit heavy because it's an hour earlier than it normally would be. And, yeah.
And that's
Let's bring in our guest right away, though. I want to bring in our guest right away so that, because it sounds like we're just getting right into this thing. Would you agree, Regine? Yeah.
I think so. And he's not a stranger to the show anymore.
That's true. You know what? Our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, yes, exactly what you said. He's no stranger to the show. He's an actor. He's a filmmaker. He's a podcaster. He's
been on
also
here 4 times.
4 times? Wow.
This is his 4th time.
This is his 4th visit to the show. He's a fun guy, and he has also boldly gone where no one has gone before.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Sit Down. Welcome back to the Sit Down, Michael Chan.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning. How are you?
How are you doing? I honestly thought when you opened the show that instead of the song that you were so tired that you chose, that you would be like, ooh,
Oh, that would have been better. That would have been better. But I was too.
Okay.
Either one of those, or at least I could have just started with like a space.
The final frontier.
Can we just say to all of our viewers who are like, what the hell is going on with these two guys? They are both sleep deprived.
Extremely.
Although I think you have a better excuse for it than me. Yes, I wanted to say actually before we would start, just congratulations on the new little one.
Thank you so much.
Not the one next to you right now.
Not the one next to you.
No, not
It is a
that one.
human child.
Yes. Yeah. I have a newborn. And he's oh my god, he's adorable. He's adorable, and he has a sonic scream, as I call it. He's so loud. He has an actor's lungs. He's just, oh my goodness, he like shakes the windows with his cries.
Well, if our camera starts to shake, you know why, guys.
You know why it is, because he's hungry and he's crying upstairs.
No, well, like Scott said, congratulations on the baby boy. But Scott, that's not the reason why he's tired, FYI.
Well,
Really?
not fully, no.
Oh. What's the reason?
Tell us
well,
why.
You want?
Yeah.
I had a very busy end of the week because like my agents did an incredible job and like threw 12 auditions at me on Friday. I did seven of them last night, and then because I knew you guys wanted to talk about Turning Red at some point. Plus, I had the movie spoiled by multiple people already, even though it just came out. I was like, okay, I have to watch this before I get more spoiled. I had more spoilers for this movie than I had Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
You know what I hate? Actually, well, for starters, movie spoilers I hate, yes, deeply. But the ones that I'm seeing the most, and I still haven't seen Spider-Man because I haven't been out to a theater yet. I'm planning to, you know.
I haven't.
Yeah. There you go.
I've seen it twice.
Amazing. Well, I'm sure it's good. I know it's going to be good. But you know what I really hate, this trend that's happening? And I see it on YouTube just because I'm on YouTube the most, is people will post spoilers in the titles of videos. So it'll be like,
yeah.
So and they'll post it almost, I guess, again, because everyone's always, because they want to get they want to get in there first so that they get the views, right? So like, let's say the climax of a movie is like, you know, Johnny gets killed by Donnie or something, right? That happens in the movie, right? The title of the movie will be like Johnny getting killed by Donnie, and then like in whatever movie, right? So like you could just be scrolling through. Like I'm choosing purposely not to watch anything if people are talking about the new Spider-Man. I don't even really want to watch reviews. I'm purposely not watching any of that content. But if you're putting it in the title, like it's so hard not to.
It's not just the title now. Like, you know, you have your custom
thumbnail,
poster, whatever you call it, the thing that people see, not just the title but the
thumbnail,
picture above it. Yep. Like, holy crap, they put like the picture of whatever the thing is they're talking about.
That's right.
So it's like it's a double whammy of like, not only are you reading it, you're seeing it.
Yep. Yeah. And especially if it's like you know, they're teasing or it's supposed to be a surprise that character's in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And so a lot of things, like with Spider-Man No Way Home, like I knew that there were going to be a lot of throwbacks to the other universes. Like that was kind of rumored from the beginning. Like even before the movie, like years ago, they were talking about it as a rumor, right? But anyways, I'm pretty confident I know a lot of people are going to be turning up. I'm excited about it, but it makes me mad because I would have preferred to have been surprised. But
yeah.
And the thing that bugs me most about it is I do understand to an extent, like after a certain amount of time goes by, I think COVID has made things a little bit complex because people like myself, for example, who would have gone to see it like opening weekend, you know, because of the extra thing of, I don't know if I want to be in a theater right now. Like that's different, right? But generally speaking, you know, people who want to see a movie or are really excited about it will go to see it as soon as possible if they can.
Yes.
But to post the thing like the night it comes out, like Disney Plus, for example, something comes out at like midnight. I remember, in fact, that's right. I was watching like with The Mandalorian, right? I remember I was, you know, watching that show pretty closely, or Book of Boba Fett, and you know that comes out at like midnight the night before, or whatever time. It's like in the middle of the night, right? So even if those shows I did watch typically the day they came out, but usually like in the evening around dinner time, right? But somebody's gone online and watched it at like 12 a.m. basically the night before, and then posted the spoiler at like 1 a.m. that morning. So anybody who was planning to watch the show that day can see that spoiler in the title or in the thumbnail that day, and it just grinds my gears.
We're having that problem with Star Trek Discovery because in the US it's now on Paramount Plus. And they release it like stupid early in the US, right? But then in Canada, we don't have any Star Trek on Paramount Plus because Crave has the contract for it. And Crave releases the show on a schedule. So we get it at like 9 p.m. the day of. So there's like a whole day of just people spoiling stuff and reviews being written, and it's insane amounts of stuff all leading up to us Canadians actually getting to watch the show. Plus there's also the rest of the planet, and there's been like a kerfuffle over Paramount Plus being where people can watch it because it used to be on Netflix internationally.
Mhm.
So there's like, and then there's like a couple of other countries that don't have it on Paramount Plus yet. So yeah, but people just spoil the day of.
Well, it's
Yeah.
like on TikTok. I don't know about you guys, but I find more and more spoilers on TikTok than anywhere else. Maybe it's my
You're right.
algorithm, but like everyone who's tuned in on a weekly basis knows that I watch Love is Blind season 2, and the amount of spoilers that I've seen, thank God I watch them religiously, so I don't need spoilers. But there's so many spoilers. It's unreal.
People are already making like skits the day things come out on TikTok, right?
Yep.
That's what happened with me for Turning Red. It's just people skits on TikTok. I'm like, wait, no.
Well,
Yep.
okay, let's talk about Turning Red without any spoilers. Because as
Oh yeah.
Michael had mentioned to me right before you got on, Scott, there's some controversy going on with this movie.
You hear about this, Scott?
I have heard a little. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I watched a bunch of extra reviews after I watched it. I will say this: I loved it. I found the movie delightful. I actually think it was one of my. It's one of my favorite Pixar movies since when I'm not sure, but let's see. For me, it's better than Encanto.
It's better than Inside Out, because I know you like Inside Out.
I think it might be, or it's on par. Because the thing is, Inside Out really, like, there were moments with Inside Out that I like, you know, and I find if I've got tears in my eyes, then you've done something right. You know what I mean? Because it means that you've gotten me to care enough that when something happens emotionally, I'm there. You know what I mean? And so Inside Out definitely achieved that for me. But Turning Red it's just great. Yeah, it's better than Encanto. It's better than Luca. It's better than Soul.
Can I jump in there, Scott?
Yeah, I'll just say to start off, I thought it was wonderful. I just absolutely loved it.
I only want to jump in because if you watch our show regularly, you know Scott and I don't have the same views on movies. Like, I love a movie and he'll be like, eh. I enjoyed Turning Red, but I didn't love Turning Red.
Wow.
And I had a feeling this was going to happen between the two of us. Like, I love the movie in terms of, you know, the representation of Asian culture, of Toronto, of the meaning behind it. But there were some parts of the movie where I was like, yeah, I could have done without this.
Interesting. Wow. I didn't expect that at all. Okay,
like,
Michael. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Regine.
No, I was going to say, like, I did like the movie for what it stands for. There were just some parts that I could have done without it. Maybe they could have done something else. But that's just my opinion.
Wow.
Meanwhile, I'm kind of on Scott's side. I love this movie. Like, I haven't been... There are two movies from Pixar. I mean, one a little older, Up, that I really...
I love
I was crying in that.
The first 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then there was Onward. Which
I like that one too.
Is completely underrated. Like, that is one of their best movies ever made.
I haven't seen Onward, actually.
It's really
you
good.
Need
it's like
to watch it today.
Okay.
It's actually, like a urban fantasy D&D thing, and it's really good.
Very heartfelt.
It's just so good. And then this, like, I mean, I recognize, like, I'm Chinese and I'm born in Toronto. I grew up in Toronto. And so obviously I'm going to connect a lot to it, but I feel like the movie is a good, I feel like it's very universal in the sense that you have, like, generational trauma, right? Living up to expectations, you know, of your parents, becoming your own person and not the person that your parents want you to be. All of these things are extremely universal. Plus, it's a super fun movie, and the red pandas are cute.
They are cute. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I like the meaning behind the movie and the representation within the movie. It's just, again, I don't want to spoil it, but there are some parts in that movie that I was just like, what did I just watch?
Oh,
I guarantee if you told us what it is, I'd just be like, no, I disagree.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll talk after.
Well, because I watched a couple. Oh, hi, Thomas. Welcome to the show. And he watched Turning Red as well. Cool. What'd you think of Turning Red, Thomas? For me, I just found it. I mean, I was laughing, you know, throughout it. I I like the nostalgia of it, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, she's got her Tamagotchi and
Sky
it just
Dome.
Skydome, yeah.
Skydome.
It was beautiful to see
Skydome.
that lovely Skydome logo up there, the way it
It's
should
been
be.
so long.
So nice. And yeah, for people who don't know, the Rogers Center in Toronto, where the Blue
Boo.
Jays play, used to be called the
Ugh.
Skydome, and it was
Yeah,
renamed.
which is a better name. They should have
Better
just called
name.
it the Roger Skydome.
Yeah, and so but then when Rogers bought the Blue Jays or bought the
Rogers
stadium,
Center.
they chose to rebrand it, and Torontonians have never really forgiven them for it,
We've
and
never
never will.
recovered.
I will
never
say
will.
this just to set a historical record straight. They did attempt to buy the name. The person who owns the rights to it wants a lot of money, which Rogers stupidly didn't pay. So I will say that.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Well, that's, that could be, I heard at the time, that's interesting because I didn't hear that. What I heard at the time was that Rogers deliberately didn't want to call it Skydome, because some people were like, why don't you call it Rogers Skydome? And what I heard was that they were like, no, we don't want to call it Rogers Skydome because people will still call it the Skydome. We want people to say Rogers every time they say the name of the stadium. That's what I heard. So
Hmm.
that's interesting. I haven't heard.
Considering a lot of their stuff is still branded a Dome Media, I'm surprised that.
That's interesting. I mean, I remember hearing that, like, I don't know, on the radio a long time ago. But-
Can we go back for a second? The movie is in 2022 for how old is she? Like 13, 12
13.
years old.
Yeah.
That's me.
Mhm.
I was that age in 2022. 2002.
2002, yeah.
2002. So
Did it give you like flashbacks to like?
it did, because like just her character and like what they were obsessed over.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was obsessed over the same things at her age. I did not have the Tamagotchi. I don't think Tamagotchis were a thing anymore back then. That was
Yeah,
more
that's
like
the thing.
that was more like late 90s, and now.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
she was the only one who had one, so
That's
it was like a
true.
her thing.
That's
That's
true.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And there was probably like a mix of yeah, that's true, because I remember at the beginning they were talking about they mentioned the year 1994 or something. I was like, is this set in 1994? And then I saw later, like, oh no, it's 2002. But anyways, I will say, well, I'm actually very curious, like, is there a way, Regine, you can sort of mention a little bit what you didn't like without spoiling, or like certain things, just because I kind of want to get a feel for.
Okay, you know what I didn't like, there's, like I said, there was parts in the movie, let's just say more of the group settings with her friends, that kind of, I was just like, what am I watching? But then I was also tired, so maybe I need to rewatch it, because okay, you know me, I get very like, my attention span is very short, so once I start to doze out of the scene, I'm over it. And that was kind of what was happening when they were in a bigger group setting.
Oh,
Oh.
And
I
was
don't know
okay,
if we're talking about the same scenes, but I felt like those group moments established their friendships and how they were connected to each other, and gave them a bit more of a character development for the friends.
I think it was more so the mascotiness of it all, that group setting.
Oh, that part.
Oh.
I liked it. If we're talking about
If we're all talking about the same thing,
Yeah,
there's a lot of moments.
I just enjoyed it. I found myself. Thing is, I had low expectations because of the controversy online, right? There were a lot of reviews that were saying certain things that the main thing that I heard, and again, some people have interpreted to be that because of like it's racist driven and things like that, which may be true, maybe not. I'm not sure, but I tried to listen to reviews with like sort of the, what can I say, the best, like assuming that the people were had the best of intentions when giving it, and that they weren't, horrible people or something. But so what I was hearing was that the subject matter was very niche, and that it doesn't have a general mass appeal,
Right.
And so yeah.
Tell us your thoughts, Michael.
I was gonna say the review that got the most I guess most reporting on in the media, in the mainstream media, was that by managing director Sean O'Connell. He's the managing director of Cinema Blend, and he wrote this article that basically, I'm just gonna read his words. I recognized the humor in the film, but connected with none of it. By rooting Turning Red very specifically in the Asian community of Toronto, the film legitimately feels like it was made for Domi Shi's friends and immediate family members, which is fine, but also a tad limiting in its scope. Now, obviously, the review's a lot longer than that, but...
Yeah, I read that one. I read the whole article, yeah.
Okay, so I would argue that is very short-sighted and very... This person doesn't, either they didn't watch the film or they don't watch any Disney, because Disney's films, a lot of them, from, even in the past with like Aladdin and Pocahontas and Mulan to more recent stuff like Encanto and all that, is rooted in other cultures. And the culture is fantastic. It gives it life, but it's the themes behind the film that people connect with. And with Turning Red, you have things like generational trauma and all that, right? And all of this stuff, people of all cultures can relate to. And so I don't know what the intention behind Sean's review is. I won't outright call him a racist, but I will say that there's implied racist undertones, so he might not be a racist.
It could be interpreted that way. Yeah, because sorry, Michael, I cut you off.
Oh no, I'm just saying that the thing is, then the apology came out where he was like, maybe I didn't engage with the film better, I didn't communicate well. I'm like, no, you just wrote a really crappy review, and then their editor-in-chief is like, oh, maybe we should have edited this better. I'm like, no, you should have not released this. So there's like levels of failure before this review got out there. And it shouldn't happen. Not in 2022. This shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it kind of in his defense, even though I will say this now, because I read his, I don't know how many people have read. Have you read the actual review itself, like his whole article? Cool. Because like when I read it, I was like, he mentions off the top that I think he opens the article saying something along the lines of like, the past films by Pixar have been more universal, and then he mentions like Toy Story, and I think he mentions Inside Out.
Bao is also based in Toronto, and
but Bao's not Pixar though. But anyway, no. But in his article, he said, but more recently, they've been bringing in newer voices who have been presenting to a more limited scope. And then he mentions Luca. I think he mentions Encanto in that same one, right? So he was kind of making the point of like that's limiting. But the thing where I disagree is like what you just said, Michael. The sort of the cultural choice or where they choose to set it. That's kind of just the framework of the movie. Like it's not really that different from Monsters Inc., right? It's like, okay, so instead of going into this monster world, we're just going to instead make our framework a cultural place. But the story that you tell underneath it will appeal to everyone. But anyway, but the point I got from his whole article was his disconnection with the movie, I thought when I read the article, seemed to be more because he's like, I don't know, I think he might be in his 40s or something. And he seemed to not be able to keep up with the pace of like what a 13-year-old girl is going through. Like that's kind of where when he mentions how, the girl's obsessed with the boy bands and everything. And like he said that he mentions like the breakneck pace of the editing really like he found it exhausting. So again, it's interesting because like now I've watched the movie and like, I don't see any of what he said in the article. Like it's just completely
I felt the review was wrong. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
It's like we watched a completely different film.
Different movie, yeah.
Yeah, I will say
Also-
this, like with greater focus on diversity and obviously bringing in stories from different cultures and all that. Just because we live in North America doesn't mean the only stories we can tell are either non-cultural stories or white stories.
Yeah.
Having exposure to other cultures is a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
And if
Absolutely.
anyone finds that limiting, then I think the problem is not the film, it's you.
Mhm.
Yeah, actually, it's my girlfriend pointed out something yesterday that's interesting, and then we watched a couple other reviews. Like I watched another review with a guy who didn't like the movie, and actually, weirdly, he said a lot of the same things in the article, which I'm like, okay, he must have read that article, but he said a few extra things too. But the weird part for me was, like some people have pointed out that the panda part is kind of like a metaphor for like puberty, right? Like the transformation is a metaphor for puberty.
Mhm.
And then they also make a light reference to like that they think that the girl might be getting her period, and some people found that inappropriate, which I found is very, what do you mean? Like it's just a normal, like everybody,
It's just part of life.
yeah,
Oh my
you know what I mean?
God.
Half of our population goes through this.
Yeah.
Oh my
And so-
God.
So anyway,
Men should know about it.
yeah. So I do kind of wonder if like part of the controversy too is might be just this something about people having a problem with, like, I don't know, girls and girls stories.
Let's
I'm not
just
sure.
say what Michael said is where we're gonna leave this conversation. The problem isn't with the movie; it's with the person watching the movie and making these reviews. Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I guess.
Mhm.
Moving on. Scott Bao is from Pixar. Thank you very much.
Pixar
Oh.
short.
Okay, but I wouldn't. But
Just
sorry.
saying.
But I still wouldn't count it in that it's a short. Like I'm trying, when I was talking about the movies, I was talking about like the
Features.
the Pixar features.
Well, Bao was like, to me at least, besides Mulan, was maybe one of the first things that I've seen in theater that I was like, ooh, relatable.
Yeah,
I like
related
Bao.
part to that film.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what the weird part as well is, like, with this movie, yes, the lead is Asian, yes, but it's just hard for me. Like, if you're somebody who grew up in the West in the last like 30 to 40 years, I don't see how you couldn't relate to this film.
Right.
Because it's about a young girl growing up in a major urban city in North America who likes pop music and hanging out with her friends and going to the store and buying, candy and all that. Like,
I don't think
it's-
she likes going to the store to buy candy, Scott. Let's be real.
okay, well, that's true. There is, other reasons to go to the store, but even that's relatable too. I just can't figure out, like,
there is a dreamy dude working at the store.
well, that's what she was implying. That's what Regine was relating
I'll
to.
try not to spoil things, Michael, but
I don't think that's a spoiler.
That's a good point. I think it might be in the trailer. They might mention that in the trailer, actually. I think you're right. I mean, the point is, like, I saw a lot of elements of my own childhood in the movie.
Oh
You
my
know
God,
what I
you're
mean?
crazy about boy bands, Scott? I knew it.
Well, actually, well, that's the funny part is that it's like especially when we were kids, it's like the girls were always talking about, NSYNC and all those things. And then the
Yeah.
boys, trying to be cool, are like, no, those guys aren't cool.
But
you know what I mean?
Secretly,
But-
deep down inside.
Well, yeah, because obviously you grow up, it's like, wait a minute, I know the words to all of these songs. So clearly something's rubbed
Mhm.
off on me, right?
Like
But
boy
I-
bands and Spice Girls, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
Like, I was the little girl. I could have been in her group of friends in 2002.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's why
Same
I
age.
don't, it's just so confusing to me. Like, I don't know, like, if I don't
I
know
think I need
what
to
you're,
rewatch the movie.
But also a film about living up to parental expectations. Come on,
Every child goes through that.
Everyone.
That is
Yeah.
universal. That's not just a
Yep.
Chinese thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, the specific cultural aspects of how we say Chinese people try to live up to their parents is more specific to the Chinese culture, but the idea behind it at the end of the day is
Mhm.
universal.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like I was watching it, and when the aunties came through, I was like, "Yep, here we go."
Yeah.
Here we go.
It was I don't know. I would say, look, everybody watch the movie. It's delightful, and I love
I'll
the
watch
ending.
it again. I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch it again, and I will update the both of you on my thoughts on it. Or I'm not
Okay.
super tired.
I mean, you don't have to like it. Like, I don't want you to like. I mean, if you didn't like it, you didn't. You know.
I said I liked it. I didn't say I loved it. I said I liked it. Don't twist my words, Scott.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I
Tom,
would be curious if Sean O'Connell actually, if he watched Encanto and gave it a positive review, because I haven't looked this up, because here's the thing: if you liked Encanto and then have problems with Turning Red, there are similar themes in both movies.
yeah.
True.
In fact, well, that's
Very
the thing, 'cause
true.
that's true, because I would be curious actually if you thought it as well. But again, I will say, and if I'm being honest, I actually don't even reading the article. His review, for me it found if I had to pick a general feeling of what he said, it would be that I'm too old for this. I can't get into it because the kids are just so loud and abrasive. Like that for me felt like what he was saying, you know. And honestly, a person can feel that way, right?
Mhm.
Like if you just don't like. In fact, actually, to relate to it, like I told you how I watched another video last night of another guy who was talking about the things he didn't like about the movie. But one thing he did mention, which kind of made me a little feel sorry for him a little bit, was he mentions how he remembers middle school, and he had a horrible experience in middle school, and so seeing these girls and hanging out with them for the whole 90 minutes, he said like it was like it really it wasn't something that he enjoyed. Like he felt very pushed out by it, and I think so. I'm like, I guess if you had a
Oh.
really
Someone's got to deal with some trauma.
yeah, like if you had a really rough experience, and it, I guess I can understand that, but like
As someone who was heavily bullied and had one of the worst experiences, like
Mhm.
grade school was not a good time in my life. And it's something I'm very vocal about. I'm not afraid to say this because I had classism that I was facing racism, and just I was also very sickly, so people I was awkward. So like my time, I had no friends growing up. But this movie and seeing this group of friends, I never felt disconnected. And I would like to point out this film also had moments of, because try not to spoil it, but like there is bullying in this film. There are
Mhm.
times when our protagonist is treated very poorly, and I can
Mhm.
relate to that. I see that, and it brought back memories, and I connected with it right away. And the fear of being different, of being weird, like some of the comments some of her classmates made about her at the beginning of the film, like I was just like, yeah, that's me, so there's both sides of it, right? Her group of friends, so I never had that. I didn't find I couldn't connect. I understood. And then there's the other half of it that they showed too.
I just
No,
feel
I
like
get what
there's
you mean.
yeah, that's what I mean. I just think there is stuff for
Everyone.
everybody there. And yeah, like again, like this guy, I guess there was something happening in the movie that must have been, triggering some negative things for him. I don't know. I mean, I guess like if it's something like, I don't know, he maybe there was 4 girls at his school who were exactly like the main characters, but they like beat him up every day or something, and maybe that's just he can't. It's too much. It's so
Maybe
I can
they
understand
red-handed him.
Who knows? Yeah, maybe.
Handed him.
It's
But-
gonna be a thing now.
But it's just anyway, it was great. And the other thing I kept trying to tell myself is like, because I remember about halfway through the movie, like, or actually not even halfway through, several times through the movie, because me and my girlfriend were watching together, I'd be like, I'm liking this. I'd be like, oh, this is pretty fun. And then I remember being like, okay, I want to make sure that I don't just like this because it's set in Toronto, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because obviously there is a certain, but I thought about it more and I realized, no, that's not it. Because if I didn't like the movie, I would have actually disliked it more, because it's like you're putting my city on a spotlight and you're making a terrible movie. You know what I mean? So like it would
Yes.
be like you're misrepresenting us, and you're putting like, to keep my city out of this. You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
they represented Toronto to a T, like the streetcar. Not to a T, sorry.
Actually,
But,
I do have one.
I have one criticism.
I have one as
Who
well.
wants
and
to
I'm
go
curious
first?
what yours is.
say
I'm
it
actually
at
curious if
the
it's
same
the same one.
time and see if it's
Okay,
the same
okay.
one.
Well, that won't work, but we'll try.
We'll try.
One,
Okay,
two.
you go first. Michael. You go first.
What the hell's with the red lanterns, guys? Why is it that the city is filled with red, especially Chinatown? That's never happened.
I've never seen that in Chinatown.
We don't do that, and I'm sorry, but this is a complaint I have about my industry, our industry, Scott. It seems that every time you have a Chinatown episode or a Chinese episode, or even sometimes just the Asian episode of a TV show, there's red lanterns everywhere.
Yep.
That doesn't happen, guys. You don't need red lanterns to tell people it's Asian or Chinese. No, guys, stop it. And Toronto doesn't have that many, or sometimes none at all.
I didn't.
Yeah, I don't think they ever put them across. They don't put them all across the street like that, because like because we were basically looking up Spadina, right, when they were showing some of the Chinatown sequences.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah,
the
I don't
streetcar
recall
should have
ever...
said Spadina instead of Chinatown.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell that they de-specified a few things, but I guess they probably did that again just for reasons. Yeah, that's a good point. They've never. I mean, you could say that they were making I guess just artistic choices, but you are right. I mean, those red lanterns are everywhere whenever they want to, as soon as they want to show, look, this is Asian. Red lanterns, red lanterns, red lanterns, red lanterns, red lanterns.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, dude, you and I have been in enough shows to see that.
Yeah.
You and I have so many red lanterns in our career.
True. I guess it's I mean, I guess what it is to put it bluntly, it's easy in that if they want to instantly say what we're trying to do right now, it's like throw that on the screen and people automatically know. Oh, okay, yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, the director is an Asian Canadian, right? So I mean, those are there because she put them there. So.
Did she though?
But here's the thing: like at the end, this is a Asian Torontonian working within the Hollywood framework.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
So,
Okay, Scott.
I'd be curious to hear what her reasoning behind that if she were asked. I'm not sure. It could have just been an aesthetic choice because again, Spadina doesn't. It's a wider street than I think they made it look there. There are some of the side streets off Spadina that you could probably string things across because it's kind of just two little lanes, maybe. But again, in my mind, I don't recall ever seeing that unless they've done it.
My family has had an office in Chinatown since 1985, so
Okay,
I would know.
Yeah.
I would know since I'm there all the time.
Yeah.
Fair.
Like
Okay, Scott,
Chinatown
what are
Spadina. Oh, my one gripe with the movie is I didn't hear a single correct pronunciation of Toronto.
Oh yes, you're right. My wife knows. She's like, why are they pronouncing it like Americans?
Yeah.
Yep.
And like
You're
I
right.
noticed because I think like
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, well, because
it's not Toronto, it's Toronto.
If somebody pronounces the second T, that's usually how you can tell that somebody's not from Toronto. Usually.
Oh my god, I need to watch the movie again, guys. I think I've come to conclusion I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
So actors, remember, if it's set in Toronto, say Toronto, not Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto.
The only time you pronounce the second T is if you're saying Torontonian.
Correct.
But there are a few. To be fair, there are a couple pronunciations, right? The one I typically use because of my accent is Toronto, right?
Toronto.
But
Right.
I've heard some people say Toronto.
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 Yep, Toronto.
T
I heard
dot.
Toronto. Well,
But
at the end of the day,
it's-
there's no T. There's no second T.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, there's no second T.
It's silent.
Yeah.
It's the CN Tower. You
Yeah.
don't say it.
Yeah. So I'm just surprised. I'm surprised that one, slipped by.
To be
because
fair, most of the voice actors are American.
No,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of them is not though. One of them is from Mississauga.
Sandra Oh, yeah.
No, I know that. Yes, I know.
But what it
I
would
know.
have been, it would have been something where, like, when they're in the recording booth saying it, somebody would have had to go, hey, just so you know, no, you don't. No, that's not.
You don't
no.
say the T's. Yeah.
You
So
mean the
Okay, so-
American recording booths.
Yeah. So can I just ask, Michael, because I know you're very big on your Asian culture. What are your thoughts on Raya and the Last Dragon? Lost
To
Dragon?
be honest, I haven't had a chance to watch it. And I'm very upset that I haven't.
I've watched. Scott, have you watched Raya? Oh my god.
It
Watch
came
Raya
out at
and
a
then
time
stop.
where my life got stupid busy, and then it just kind of. I haven't. I
Yeah, I
haven't
need to
watched a
watch
lot
it.
of stuff. I've.
like he literally
Very-
watched Turning Red last night as like homework for the show.
like,
I don't
Yeah,
think-
4
I did.
a.m.,
I
yeah.
stayed up till 4 a.m. to watch this, just for this.
Okay, so then you
which I
have to
appreciate,
watch-
by the way, because I when I sent you the message, I didn't want you to. I guess I was giving you homework, but not in the sense that, like, yes, after you're done working for all these hours, I want you to stay up an extra 2 hours and watch a
You
movie.
are
for us.
probably the only guest he's asked to do something. Just so
Hey
you
man,
know.
I was happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. I mean, look at
Okay,
this
but-
conversation we're having. It's
I know.
awesome.
True.
But you guys need to watch Raya. I've literally watched
I will.
it 3 times.
I will.
Please.
You know the one thing about Raya is, though, like, I don't think it's probably not gonna have a mass appeal. Like, it's too niche an audience, and I don't think it's made for me. So I'm just not gonna watch it.
No, Okay, bye. I think Raya it was so under the radar, like you said, Michael. And like, what movie was it that came out at the same time that it kind of just
I thought
lost
Encanto
it.
took over, didn't it? Like,
No,
No, it wasn't
Encanto came
Encanto.
after.
Yeah.
What movie
Oh.
was it?
because Encanto's just the one
Was
that I
it
know.
Soul? Was it Soul?
They both came out around the same time, but Soul is a great
Oh.
movie.
I haven't seen that either. That's
Oh
like I
my
said,
goodness!
I have a massive queue, guys. Look, man, kids.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Well,
Watch
here's the
it
thing.
with your kids.
Hey, man, I also had to. Okay,
I know.
I'm just gonna
you've been
say this
busy.
because a lot has happened in my life since the last time I was on here. I lost
Yeah.
my mom last year to cancer,
Oh.
and then I also lost a baby last year.
Jeez.
So, not a good year. I have a lot on my queue. Like, I'm a
But
huge
you
wrestling
gained a
fan.
baby.
I did. This year has started really well. But all of that pain and grief last year was balanced off by me having the best year as an actor I've ever had, which is weird in a pandemic, but it's the truth. It kept me busy. It kept my mind as far away from my grief as I could keep it, because most of the time I'm thinking about it. Even today, like it's hard. Like, there are things that it takes time to get over. But yeah, like, to anybody who's out there with like a massive amount of like things that you wish you could watch or do or whatever, and your life is just busy, just know, like, it's okay.
I mean, I would actually go further and say, you shouldn't worry about not being able to. I mean, entertainment is like, it's
I
supposed to be
know.
there. It's supposed to be there when you have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So the, a little escapism and all that. But
I do
would
know,
say,
like, a lot of
Yeah.
people that a lot of my friends and people I talk to tend to, because personal time is important, right? Like, life is
Mhm.
stressful. You work, you family obligations, you have like taxes and all this stuff in your life that you need to deal with. And so personal time and entertainment time is highly valued. And when you don't have enough time for yourself to take care of yourself, sometimes it could be, it can mess with your head. It's really it's taxing.
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
But just know that, if any of you out there are going through that, like, you're not alone. There's a lot of people, I would say most people, who find it they don't have enough time for themselves. Just the way it is.
But can we just talk about your hoodie for a quick second?
Oh, yeah.
Something that came out of this pandemic as well.
Yes. So this is merch with my face on it. So something that also happened since the last time I was on to sit down is that I have a brand new podcast called the Hellbound Podcast that I co-host with Alexander Blackburn, who is an amazing podcaster, filmmaker, film editor, and film festival organizer from the UK.
Wow.
And we talk about everything horror, like everything. We'll talk about everything, and that includes like toys and stuff. Like I do unboxing sometimes right on the show.
Have you spoken about Scott's horror film?
No, because we would have to see it, and Scott would have to give us a link, and then we'll review it.
Oh,
Scott.
I'll make that happen.
I could also have you on as a guest.
Ooh.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
Awesome.
Okay. We'll talk.
but yeah,
I'll have
like-
my people call your people.
Sounds good. But also like something that has also started happening with this show, with this podcast, is because like Alex, for those of you who know my previous podcasting work, I had a different, well, I still technically do have it, but it hasn't. It's called Talking with Our Mouths Full. Is a Toronto-based community podcast where we interviewed people and about culture and diversity and stuff and food, and then we would also introduce people to places to eat in and around Toronto. That went on hiatus after episode 50 because of my mom passing away, and then we just never came back, and I don't think we will, just because I don't think I have the will to continue that show. I'm just being honest. Meanwhile, with Hellbound, Alex is the one who does all the editing, all the sound engineering, all of that, right? He has my position, like the position I had on Talking with Our Mouths Full is what Alex has. So it has taken off, like it's a lot off my shoulders, but it's not like I don't do anything. It's not like I just show up and talk. So what has happened is there was a period where life got stupid busy because of the newborn. So I couldn't be on the show for a week, and but I still wanted to have like a presence. So what happened was Alex basically hosted the show with his wife Vicky, which was an amazing episode, and I sent him an audio clip that was kind of like a voice message of me being attacked by vampires. And from there, the next week, when because to reciprocate, Alex wasn't on the next episode, so I did the episode of my wife Jessica, and then he sent me a clip where he's sending me a voicemail, and then I was like, dude, we're onto something. So we now have a 1 to 2 minute radio drama intro for every episode, and as kind of like a reward for people who listen in order. Like it continues, the story continues. If you can listen to our episodes out of order, like the content of the episode itself you can listen anytime, but the intros will only make sense if listened to in order. And it's like this huge worldwide adventure of Alex, myself, and Jessica facing off against all my doppelgangers, which is a joke that came out of episode 1 of our show, where because my name is so common, Michael Chan. So we're just now assuming every Michael Chan is a doppelganger of mine, and I'm the prime Michael Chan. So
you gotta watch it from episode.
There's a whole
1
lore.
onwards.
There's a whole lore behind.
we have
the
a
show.
huge lore, and it's so I write all the scripts. I voice act myself and other Michael Chans, but I've also, Alex voice acts, my wife voice acts. I've brought in guest voice actors. It's gone off the rails, like and it's. I bring in elements from all sorts of horror genres.
That's beautiful. Where can people find it?
It's on every major podcast platform, like Apple Podcast, Spotify, Podbean. It's everywhere, and we have merch.
Nice.
We have merch. You can if you
Awesome.
want my face
Awesome.
on your body.
Who created the drawing there? Because it's really, really good.
Alex actually he commissioned an artist.
Oh.
I'm just gonna
God, we're slacking with our merch. This guy has. His
I love
face
your
all over
merch
it.
though.
Yeah, it just hasn't evolved in any way. But you are right. I actually do like how clean it is. It's just
We
very
need
clean.
hoodies too.
With this logo, or do you want like a drawing of us?
With our logo, I need a hoodie I love a good hoodie.
I think we can make a hoodie happen. We can make a hoodie happen.
I need a new T-shirt actually.
All right. Actually, Regine, we should do the ads because
Yes.
we just did it.
Oh my gosh, yes we do.
We were so involved in the convo, which honestly was a great convo. Hey, Abigail McIntosh was here. Hello, welcome. And Thomas, yeah, I've been seeing your comments, but we've been into the chat. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, today's episode of the Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by the very following fantastic advertisers. They make this show possible, ladies and gentlemen. The Toronto real estate market is growing and changing every day. In these challenging times, you need someone in your corner. Jeanette McKenzie, Realtor at Forest Hill Signature, is committed to looking out for you. She'll go the extra mile to ensure that she'll go the extra mile. Where am I? It's early, I'm tired. She'll go the extra mile to ensure that you have all the information you need to make a decision you can feel confident about. Purchasing a home is one of the biggest financial investments you'll make in life. Don't leave it to chance. Call Jeanette McKenzie at Forest Hill Signature. She's my realtor, and she could be yours. Call today at 416-523-0408 or email at jmmckenziehomes@gmail.com. Jewelry forever. Conveniently located at CF Markville Shopping Center on 5000 Highway 7 East Markham. They do custom-made jewelry, repairs, and they change watch batteries, all done on site. Jerry at Jewelry Forever is an absolute artist. If you have something, a vision for something to be made into jewelry form, he is the man to make it, and we have a great deal worked out with them, don't we, Regine?
We do. If you go in and let them know that Scott and Regine sent you, you'll get 15% off your entire purchase.
Wow.
That's right. 15% off, 15%. Mention the show. Tell them Scott and Regine sent you. Get something beautiful. And find out more at jewelryforever.ca and follow them on TikTok and Instagram at Jewelry Forever because they post some very interesting videos about some of the stuff that he's making. He posts videos about the stuff he's repairing, stuff that comes in that looks irreparably damaged. And he shows that not only is it irreparable, but it is reparable. Wow. Check them out, jewelryforever.ca. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to advertise on the show, it's very easy, right, Regine?
It's simple. All you guys have to do is email us at radioshowad, that's radioshowad@gmail.com.
That's right. We do the show live every week, everybody. And what does that mean? Well, we also read the ads live every week, which means you can personalize those ads week to week. Do you have an event, a sale, something happening at a particular time, particular place? You let us know. We let your potential client base know in real time. It's an amazing way to build a brand new relationship with a brand new audience. Radio show ad, radio show AD at gmail.com. And we're back.
Hello.
We are here
So
with
actor,
podcaster, crewmate of the. In fact, I got to find out what ship, or is it a spoiler if I say what ship you're on? But you've been to space, Michael.
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
Yes,
how
I
is
have.
that like?
Before we
Or
jump
what
into that, I
difference
just
Yeah.
from before the commercial, I just want to say the art on my shirt is drawn by Danny, but it's spelled Dhany. I was looking at during the commercials. I was looking for his his spelling, but it's Dhany Perdana. That's Perdana. Danny Perdana. He's from Indonesia. You can look him up on Instagram, and he does a lot of custom art. So if anybody wants custom art, Danny Perdana.
Well, because just looking at I haven't seen what your co-host looks like in person, but your likeness looks like you.
Yes.
And recreating somebody's face is that's like, even if you're a good drawer, right? Just being able to draw a face and the person can go, yep, that's who that is. I know who that is. Like, that's a skill set on its own, I think. Anyways,
Yes.
it's just
We should do that, Scott.
okay.
I would love to see what you guys look like in his art style.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I have my brother working on something right now, but he's been busy
Ooh.
with school, so stay tuned.
Ooh.
Makes sense. But yeah, so
I
that's
have
cool.
in
So
space.
Oh,
there you
can
go,
I
Danny
just say?
Perdana.
Yeah, so speaking of my brother, and we were just talking about Turning Red, he goes to Sheridan. And so he was actually able to do a sit down, meet and greet, talk to the people who worked on Turning Red. And he has never
Whoa.
been so inspired in his life. So
Awesome.
It's amazing.
It's cool.
Right?
So anyway, yeah, I did want to quickly come back. Yeah, we mentioned it briefly off the top that I said you boldly go where no one has gone before. So you, Michael Chan, are part of the Star Trek universe.
Yes, I am. It was a dream come true for me to join the cast of Star Trek Discovery, which is in its 4th season right now. And I was in season 4, episode 8 as a lieutenant. I'm an ops officer at the Federation headquarters. So I work on the bridge of the actual Starfleet headquarter base ship.
And I've got a picture of you up there right now. There you are.
Ooh, fancy.
Ooh.
Your what did it feel like when you put on, you must have looked in the mirror and saw yourself in a Star Trek uniform. I mean, what did that feel like?
I'm gonna admit, the first time I put on the full uniform and wardrobe, I was in tears. The first time I went to wardrobe, I was not in tears because I have a whole story about that. I'm just, long story short, I got a root canal the day of, and 30 minutes after getting a root canal, I had a mask on and I was doing wardrobe for the first time. So that was an experience, and thank God I had a mask on, and that's the pandemic, because my mouth was swollen and that was a very odd day. But when I saw the uniform that they then crafted for me, like the next time I went to wardrobe, yeah, I cried. I like hid in the change room crying for a while before I to let them have a look at it and make adjustments. Because I've spent my entire life basically wanting to be a Starfleet officer. My mother introduced me to Star Trek when I don't even know how young I was, but my mom loved William Shatner. She thought he was just gorgeous. So she loved Star Trek, and Star Trek was the first science fiction thing introduced into my life. And it is the reason why I love science fiction, period. But the Star Trek I ended up growing up with was Next Generation, right? Like that. And then eventually there more came, and I've always watched and I've always wanted to be a Starfleet officer. So, a few years ago when it was announced that Discovery was going to be filmed in Toronto, I basically painted a target on it with my agents and was like, yeah, get me on that. Like, that is the goal. I will do everything else, but that's the goal. And it took me years of like hard work, tears. I came close so many times, and I didn't get it. But then I did. So, and now I exist in a universe I've always wanted to be in.
That's amazing.
And the thing is, Star Trek, because it's so expansive and so popular, right? Like, there are like whole wiki pages of like where people have cataloged every character and it, right? So now, for sure, you're going to be able to, you're going to be able to search up, go into any Star Trek database, and your character name will be there.
Yeah,
right?
I'm already there.
There you go.
Because I also do. I'm on 2 other podcasts for the. Have you heard of the Super Mater brothers? They have like their own podcasting network here in Toronto.
I haven't no, but
they do like Star Trek, Big Brother, all that. Anyways, the Maters have reaction shows, like reaction podcasts for for Discovery, for Picard, for all the Star Trek shows. So I was on their Discovery reaction show before I got cast in Discovery.
Oh wow!
But I also do Star Trek Radio Theater, which is where they basically find old scripts for Star Trek episodes, and then we get together and we read it live. Like we play different characters. So I was also on that before I ended up on the cast of Discovery. So now,
meant to be.
And they never knew. Like I never told them I got booked. I never told them anything. And then the day of my episode's release, I know everything about season 4. Like the season that's happening right now, I know the whole thing. But I spent the entire, because I'm in episode 8, first 7 episodes pretending I know nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just reviewing it like a reviewer, and like coming up with theories. Like I totally just acted like I know nothing.
Well, because they also they really lock you down in terms of like you're not even allowed to mention that you're until your
I'm not allowed
episode's
to
out.
mention I'm in it until the episode's out.
Yeah,
Wow.
like they're even like for you know, even when you get like the email say to audition.
Oh God,
the title has like a code.
Yeah, everything's
title.
coded.
Yeah,
so
no,
like the what you audition with, even the script is not actually. It's like it's a fake script. They just want the emotions.
Yeah, they want to see if you can do it.
Wow.
Yeah, so the idea behind it is so that if somebody else were to stumble upon the script, it wouldn't be from the actual show, and B, they wouldn't even know what production it is because the title is something else.
And
right?
just this is not a real example, but I'm gonna give an example since we have Grogu here. It's almost like, let's say you're an actor and you want to be in The Mandalorian the next season. Most likely what you'll get is not The Mandalorian. You'll get a script for a show called Helmet Head or Buckethead. And then the script will be like a cowboy thing, like a Western. And instead of, in the future, it'll be in the past. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that. They like they have writers who craft these fake scripts for a universe that doesn't exist at all. Sometimes I actually do want to see these universes that they make as audition, but I'm like, dude,
I want to be on that show.
Actually really good stuff.
Yeah.
Then why don't you just take that script and make something out of it?
Because it's copyrighted.
Yeah.
Or
Well, also,
reword it.
Have you received, Michael, the like the self-destructing scripts? Have you gotten those?
Yes.
Those
the
are crazy.
What?
In 48 hours?
Yeah, so it's like they send you a link. You click on the link and it says before you click it, it's like when you click this link, it'll record what device you've clicked on it on. Mm-hmm. So like let's say you get it on your phone and maybe you're
tied
maybe
to your phone.
It's tied exactly. So make sure you're using the device that you're planning to work on it. So like if you happen to be on a PC and then you open it, well then that's the device you're using it. So it will only let you access it from that. Yep. And then it will only let you access it for usually it's 48 hours from the time you click the link because
and then they NDA your reader. My wife is my reader. Mm-hmm. They that's non-disclosure agreement. They make her sign one.
Yeah.
Even though she's not an actor.
Because they really want to lock down. They just want to make sure.
So we're like on my laptop. I have to give her my laptop, and then she reads it with me.
Yeah. Yep.
They're normally, I have a printed script, right? But you can't print. You can't print. You can't screenshot. You can't do anything.
But how do they know?
Because they've got it disabled and built into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it won't let you.
Can't you just take your phone and take a picture of it?
Yes. I mean, you could do that. But the
like,
thing
if
is,
you get caught, you're in trouble, man.
That's the other thing, because you're like guilty of like copyright infringement or something. Like and it's funny because they really are clear in like the text. They're like it's not threatening, but like everything, but in the sense that like if this gets out, we know it's we know it's you.
Who did it?
We know
how you did it. We know which device, and you will be you will be
punished.
Yeah, you will be prosecuted
I'm also
in court.
superstitious. So like, when I'm given instruction, like I'm not gonna use my phone and take a photo. I just will not do that, just because I just don't want to have the bad juju.
Yeah, that's
get at me, right? The karma.
That's the thing, right? Like as somebody who wants to be part of this production, like I'm not I'm not trying to find ways around like what for what, you know? So
Right. Yeah. So
I was just impressed by, like, I remember the first time I got a script like that. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say what it was for, so I won't. But I didn't get the part anyway. But the point is, I remember the first time I got it, I was like, oh, you know, and it kind of feels very real in that moment. You're like, whoa, like these guys don't mess around.
It makes you also makes you feel legit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an actor who gets a self-destructing script.
Yep.
Man, I made it.
Yep.
I made it.
Can I just ask? So, Michael, you had mentioned that during the pandemic, you've been really busy with work. Congratulations, first off.
Yep.
I'm curious, have you both gone for the same roles during the pandemic? Because I know pre-pandemic, you guys would you'd end up seeing each other at castings, but now that everything's virtual.
Okay,
Well, that's saying it would be hard. It's harder to. Well, yeah, that's saying it's harder to know now just because we
Let me
don't.
throw some at you. Did you do one for Safeway where it's like a TikTok video?
With dancing.
Pulling a tablecloth out.
Guess not.
No, I don't think I did a tablecloth.
I'm
I had to do a dancing one, which was awful. I had to go teach myself a TikTok dance.
Oh,
go
I did
well.
that one too.
Can you both?
That's the one where
TikTok
like you're
dance?
supposed to dance kind of bad, right? Did you get a callback for that?
No, I don't think so. I don't
Okay,
think
so
I sent it
got
off. I'm like, I am not getting this. This is.
So I got a callback and then I didn't book. But like, yeah, no, me too. I went and learned TikTok dance. So there you go. We got a same one. How many times? Wait a minute. Am I? No, I can't talk about that one.
There's a lot of secrecy in this chat right now.
Have you auditioned for Desjardins, which is a commercial I am recently in?
I have auditioned for them, but I saw that's when you posted clips of your commercial, right?
I didn't post a clip. I just
Or like
posted
a
a
screenshot
screenshot because my friends saw it and sent them to me. Yes.
Yeah, I saw the screenshot and that didn't look familiar. So
But
maybe
you
I
probably auditioned for a different role in the same commercial.
Probably, maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
there you
definitely have, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
that's the thing,
pretty
it's-
sure you have.
yeah.
There's no.
So-
I see Michael at the post office all the time.
Well, yes. Have you been leaving like gifts at my altar? Because I keep getting these like nice, energetic feelings throughout the day. I feel like people are leaving gifts for me.
No,
I'm
I
kidding.
Yes.
don't.
It's every time you mail something, you're essentially just powering me up. There
Oh
you
well,
go.
I just mailed out my invitation, so that's like 100
That
gifts for
explains
you
a
right
lot.
there.
Thank you so much for
You're
the
so
gift of
welcome.
mailing something.
And
Yes.
Scott hasn't RSVP'd yet, so just
Oh.
calling about.
Yeah.
Soon. We'll do.
But
That's right. Every time I go to the that's right. Every time I go to the post office, I'll just give a little back.
Michael's there. Michael's literally right. I sent
am.
it to you too, Michael.
There you go. Awesome. That's
I will
so
circle back around.
oh, go ahead.
But
Okay.
yes, to your point about last year, the pandemic has changed the way actors audition, right?
Completely.
We used to go to a studio and then we sit there and we wait and you know we have to go into town. Like, I'm from Richmond Hill. It takes me like an hour on rush hour traffic, or sometimes an hour and a half to get downtown. Then, you know, sometimes I go down. It's like a 4-hour day for me just to go in front of a camera for 5 minutes. So I have to turn down a lot of auditions. So part of the reason why it did so well during the pandemic is the fact that we've switched to self-taping. So like right now, this is the studio that I built in my basement to use for self-tapes. Like, this is my backdrop. And because we are taping ourselves, we can, like, I don't reject auditions anymore. I do everything. Like the 7 auditions I did last night, if I had to go downtown into Toronto to do that, I would maybe do 2. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, because there's no way I can fit 7 into my life because I also have a day job.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting you say that because we've had, sorry, Scott, I know you're going to say something. We've had many actors on our show during the pandemic, and they say the same thing. I forget her name, but our Halloween special, forgot who our guest was, but she had mentioned the reason why she didn't dress up is because she had a bunch of self-tapes to tape.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Self-takes
Yeah.
to tape.
Self-tapes.
So I don't know what they're called. And then same with Ginny. When Ginny came on, like she talked about all the things she was doing during the pandemic, and I'm just here like, I'm glad I'm not an actor.
Yeah, what do you think, Michael? Because now restrictions are being lifted, but I have a feeling that these self-tapes are here to stay, at least in some capacity.
So I believe, and I hope it's true, because this is, I think, ideal not just for me but for everyone, is that self-taping should stay for smaller roles, especially.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's good for the casting directors, because at the end of the day, it does save them a lot of money, and because they don't need such a big studio anymore. They can just have a smaller studio if they need to, because I do feel like sometimes for bigger roles, you might want to have the person come in, or you can have an initial self-tape and then be like, okay, this giant role here. I like this guy. Let's bring him in for a callback. That would make more sense. But I also feel like for the industry as a whole, self-taping is good, because people like me, for example, prior to the pandemic, I wasn't given enough opportunity. Aside from me turning down auditions because of my life, it's just there are not that many opportunities, because the casting directors themselves have a limited amount of time they have during a day to see an X amount of people. During the pandemic, with tapes, they could see more, and therefore more people get a chance, and you get fresher faces, and that allows for more people to work. And I just think, for everybody's sake, I think self-taping would probably stay and should stay.
I agree. I think it should stay for first auditions.
I agree
Pretty
100%.
Yeah, like across the board, because like obviously you can know sometimes even just before someone even speaks, somebody can walk in a room and you can go, oh, that person's not going to work for this role, right? Like that can happen. And it's great to just be able to save everybody that time of, like you said, having that person trek all the way downtown for a part. And it's just a part that, you know, it doesn't even, anyway, the point is it saves everybody time. Everything you said, I agree with what you said. And I think for first audition is great. I have heard some people, because I've spoken with some people who work behind the camera, and they say that they do still value the in-person audition because of, you know, you get a better sense of the person. You can give them direct feedback and see them in how they are in the room, how they are around people, and how they interact, you know? So I understand that. But again, I think those are things that you can find out about in a callback, in a second audition.
I'm curious though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I cut you off. I'm curious though, because for example, I'm not an actor, so I don't understand the whole process of going in and then, I mean, I've only done it twice in my life, right? But what I'm curious about is, so you know when, for example, you apply online for a job, they're getting hundreds, if not thousands, applicants. How do you know that they're actually watching your self-tapes if they're getting all of these submissions to their inbox?
There is no guarantee that they will watch. What I will tell you is from the conversations I've had with a few of the casting directors, they don't watch it all of them themselves. Usually what they do is they have an assistant or assistants who watch them all and pick out. It's their job, right? So they do that, and then they'll pick out. They know what the casting director, really well what the casting director is looking for, and then they pass it on. But there are casting directors who do watch them or watch them all. But and the number of submissions that they take is the amount that they're able to. So the time that they would have spent sitting at a live studio, right, in person with people coming in, so the amount of time it takes to do a single audition is much longer when it's in person. When a casting director is sitting at home in front of their computer and they have 50 auditions in front of them, each one of them is 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes. That's not 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So really, the amount of time they're spending watching a large amount of takes. It might be tiring maybe, but it's equivalent to being in a studio seeing less people, and sometimes maybe even less time.
True.
Yep.
Plus,
And
they can sit there with no pants on, right? A sweatshirt and a coffee.
True.
Exactly. And also, like, to put what you said, Regine, as well, is it also stresses the importance of having a good headshot.
Very.
Because going through, in fact, now, because when I was casting Storage Room B, I played the role
Sure.
of the casting director, and well, I got several hundred auditions, and I did watch everything. But the thing that
Wow.
the thing that was interesting, as I was noticing, was that just scrolling through, it's actually not that dissimilar from like being on YouTube and looking for a video to watch. It's like, as you're scrolling through, a picture that just looks great in the little thumbnail, because what you basically see before you start watching the video is the actor's headshot. That's how the site is laid out. It's like you see the actor headshot, and then you click on it, and then it plays their tape. So as I'm scrolling through, right away there are just some headshots that just pop. Either you really see their eye contact really well, or they're making it really strong, like whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so seeing that actually helped me as an actor be like, okay, so I see now, like, it gives you a sense of, oh, this is really important. Like, because, again, from simple limitations of time, if you're submitting yourself for a huge role, or a role that everybody wants, right? Oh, you want to audition for the lead in the Marvel movie. Okay. There will be hundreds of thousands of people, possibly, or more, submitting for this role, right? It's not they will not be able to watch every single one. Maybe they will, or if they have assistants, who know, however they do it. The point is, you got to make sure that your stuff is in place to try to get their attention. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. No, the headshot is very important. Like, even before the pandemic, I remember, I forgot which casting director this was, but I was sitting there in the waiting room, and the way the office was set up, it was just glass, so you can see into the offices, and then the assistant was there with a screen open of all these headshots, and they were just going through, and they would occasionally zoom in on one. They're like, no. And then they'll be like, oh, how about this one? Ooh, yeah. And then they throw it into another section of the screen. So clearly now they're interested, right? And I took a class with casting director Brian Levy, and he actually did something similar to that, where he showed us like a screen with like just hundreds and hundreds of headshots, and he goes, well, I kind of know what I'm looking for with this role. Like, I have a picture in my head, and these are the people that fit the description based on the submissions I've gotten, right? The criteria. But now I'm going to go through these, and obviously if you have a bad headshot, it's not going to work out for you. But, oh, look, this person kind of looks like the character. This person kind of looks. So then he narrows it down to, let's say, I don't know, 50. Then he goes, okay, now I'm going to start looking at your resumes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then he narrows it down to 30. And then he asked them to come in back then.
Yep.
Right.
So there you go. So to answer your question, Regine, you don't have any guarantees, but
you better have a good headshot.
Better have a good headshot. And with the self-tape stuff now, it's more likely, because they can see more people, they can take more of a chance, right? Because that's
how I got Trek, right? Like, I never got an audition before the pandemic.
There you go.
True.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, it's anyway, I hope they're here to stay, those self-tapes. I like them. It's also just, I like it from the perspective that I can send them a take that I'm really happy with,
Yes.
And you can't flub a first self-tape audition, because you're pre-recording. So if you flub it, you're just going to do another take and send them a better take, So
yeah.
That's nice. You can set your angles, and you just do all of those things. So you're a fan of daylight savings time, or?
No, but I also recognize that enough places around it would have to almost be a worldwide agreement, because if let's say Canada gets rid of it, but and you have to do business with people from other countries, you're in big trouble because you still have to know what time they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so
From my understanding,
yes, go
from my
Regine.
understanding, it is in the works. It's just they're waiting for New York and Quebec to agree.
Yeah,
From what I've
apparently
heard
so.
on the news.
So there are provinces in Canada, and I can't remember which, but they're great places. Places they have actually already done away with it. They just said no, we're not doing it. And yeah, apparently Ontario specifically, like as to what Regine just said, the reason that they've talked about it, but yeah, because we do a lot of business with New York and Quebec. Now, what I would say to that is we should just do it because New York, there's no way that people like, okay, apparently daylight savings time came about originally for farmers, right?
Are there farms in New York? I'm just kidding.
Well, sure, but the point is, it was for farmers. The majority, and also because the majority of workers were farmers, which is no longer the case anymore. Furthermore, apparently farmers have said, we don't need this. Farmers get up with the sun. They just they know how to work with. Farmers know how to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this on the show before, Michael. So that's why I'm kind of
We
bringing.
did it in the fall.
Yeah, and I was less angry because I was gaining an hour of sleep then, but this time, it's personal. And like but the thing is now they're so farmers don't need it. And also there are like every time there's daylight savings time, there's always an increase in automobile accidents the first day.
Mm-hmm.
It always spikes because everybody is a little off their game for that day. So I hear that and I'm like, okay, that already, you're going to be reducing death. And I get to sleep more, which I like. Okay.
Well, would you technically sleep more, or would you just now
I'd be sleeping the
just
same.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I would be sleeping more because I just lost an hour. I lost an hour.
But if there was no such thing as spring forward, you would just be sleeping normally.
But the thing is, I think the spring forward messes people up too, because even you can undersleep, but you can also oversleep.
Mm-hmm.
I think because our circadian rhythms are pretty sensitive, actually, right? And like it's why like if you're somebody who like always say Monday to Friday, you always get up at like 6 a.m. before you go to work, and then Saturday and Sunday because it's the weekend you like sleep in. Oftentimes, even after you sleep in, you still feel tired because your body is used to getting up at this time and you're messing with your rhythm, right? So that's why anytime that because we've got this mandated twice a year messing with the rhythm, on a macro level, it makes things worse.
Mm-hmm.
So
should we also do away with like rain and snow? Because every time we crash, every time we get snow, people crash. It's like people forget how to drive.
I think the answer is yes, but I will say the only reason that doesn't quite line up is because we can't control the weather, but we can.
According to some people, the
this.
Illuminati can. I'm kidding.
Well, then get to work. What are you guys doing? You have the power and you're not using it. We should just have,
They're
anyway.
too busy making us take vaccines and put masks on.
Get your priorities straight, Illuminati. So anyway, what I will say is you are right in that obviously if we stop using daylight savings time, right, then places we do business with and interact with will have to adjust. But I will say this, bluntly like this. One, there are other places in the world that don't use it already. Two, we already deal with if I got to do business with somebody on the other side of the world, I know that it's a different time. Anybody who does international business, you're jumping on, I will just say, businesses will adjust and all of us will just stay in bed for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So
our show would have just started if we didn't change the time.
Yeah, you see?
I was
up
still
late.
Equally tired.
No, because you would have slept an hour later. You would have gotten
probably my son would have been like, no, Daddy, I'm just gonna cry and eat.
Fair.
He's got his own circadian rhythm, and that circadian rhythm is yours. It is yours.
So.
Yeah. Well, this was a wonderful chat. I mean, I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed this.
This was fun. I'm happy to be back. It's I miss you guys a
Been-
lot. So
It's been a while. It's been a year.
I didn't realize it had been a year. That's the thing. When Regine was like, when we were like kind of looking at, okay, who should we have in the next little while? And Regine's like, oh, why don't we get Michael back on? And I was like, wasn't he
Can we
just
just have
on?
him on?
Wasn't he just on? And then Regine's like, it was a year ago. I was like, really? I was like, oh, yeah, let's get him on. It's been a year. Okay. And I will say that, Michael, I'm so, like you said, you've had a rough year. You've had loss, and you've also had a lot of stress, and I think you're still going through a lot of stress, and you're very, very busy. But I will say I'm also incredibly happy with the success you're having in your career.
Thank you.
And I like that your star is rising, and I just, I wish you all the best, and I want to make sure you carve out a little bit of time for yourself, because like you said, that little bit of downtime is important, even if it's, just watching Turning Red in the middle of the night.
At 4 a.m.
That was nice. That was a nice little break.
Let's
Even though
just
I'm
say,
exhausted because of it.
let's just say Michael Scott's saying all these nice things, but he's low-key jealous of all your success. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. I'm really happy, and all the best. Michael, where can people find you on social media and stuff?
I am on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok as @MichaelCW.Chan. I also have a website, michaelchan.ca. And again, my The Hellbound podcast is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all major podcast platforms. Also, the last thing I just want to mention is I now am also a filmmaker. I'm an associate producer at MKJ Cineframe, which is a company I started with my best friend, Katisha Shaw. We already have a film that's in the festival circuit called Hunting Darkness. It's a short horror film that where Katisha plays the lead. She's amazing. And we have a bunch of other films coming out, including one I just that I wrote recently. So stay tuned. So yeah, you'll probably see some more information about all of this on my website. Again, it's michaelchan.ca.
Beautiful. Lots coming down the pipeline. Make sure you follow him, everybody. Hey, Jalen Plays, welcome to the show. I saw your message, but anyway, he said, sorry I'm late. You're here. Hi, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. Regine, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on The Pageant Sit Down on my YouTube channel every other week. Link is in the description. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at It's Regine Alaina. If you'd like to follow my journey to the Galaxy Crown, which is just around the corner, you can follow me at Mrs. Galaxy Southern Canada 2022 on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm quickly going to plug in, because there are a lot of you who follow my journey and you are aware that I like to be a voice for the voiceless, and there's a lot of hatred and sadness going on in the world. So I'm currently hosting 2 fundraisers, one for Asian hate crime victims through Eliminate Hate. So if you'd like to purchase a 50-50 draw ticket, you can follow me on social media and get all the information there. And I'm also hosting a virtual bingo for those who have been victims of everything going on with Ukraine. So again, follow my social media and you can get all the information there. Scott, where can people find you?
You can find me right here where you're watching this very video, youtube.com/Scott Dion Brown. You can also watch on Twitch and DLive, but YouTube is the best place, because not only do you get the live streams, you also get the uploads, which, by the way, please check out my latest cover. We don't talk about Bruno, the a cappella version,
So
where I
good.
sing all the parts.
Amazing.
So
Thank
good.
you, guys. It was a lot of fun to make. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So please check it out. Leave a like on that video. A lot of you guys already have. We don't talk about Bruno, the a cappella version. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter. But those are really just satellites for my YouTube channel. Oh, yeah, TikTok as well, Scott Dion Brown Official. But still, youtube.com. By the way, people, hit like on this video if you haven't yet. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. And everybody, great show. Michael Chan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Live long.
And prosper.
I
And
can't
prosper.
do that.
Really?
Really?
Try it right now. Try it.
I'm trying.
Oh, you are right now.
Anyways,
Like
can't
pull.
do
Just
it.
use your other hand to like pull the fingers apart.
Have a wonderful week, everyone. Nice seeing you, Michael. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everybody.